Welcome to another day with us on the farm here at JSH Rabbits. Today we're going to do another simple and educational video for you, and that's going to be how to tell if a rabbit is pregnant. So if you want to find out how, stay tuned. So this video is being done as a response to the question that we posted on our community board in YouTube recently. And that question was, what video should we do next? Of course, we got a response from Sherry Gay Campbell, and she was asking how to tell if a rabbit is pregnant. So that's what our video is going to be about today. Simply, how to tell if a rabbit is pregnant. So many persons may be rearing rabbits for pet purposes or for even meat or breeding purposes, breeder purposes. Either way, from time to time, you will be putting out the rabbits to be bred. Now, if that is the case, you will need to know if the rabbit is actually pregnant or not in order to not waste your time and ensure that you have successful production. Now, here are some ways that you can tell whether a rabbit is pregnant or not. Number one is actually noticing the behavior of your rabbit. So if your rabbit is normally docile and you observe a change, like the rabbit has become more irritable and more aggressive, then that could be a sign that your rabbit is pregnant. Number two, if your rabbit has gained weight recently or significantly gained weight in the last few days or weeks, then that could also be a sign that the rabbit is pregnant. Another sign of pregnancy is nest building. So rabbits instinctively build nests when they're about to kindle. And if you see a rabbit pulling fur or scratching in your cage excessively, that could be a sign of pregnancy. So if you see your rabbit doing something like this, then the possibility is that the rabbit is pregnant. As you can see, it has pulled fur and placed them in the corner. So that's a sign of pregnancy. Another way to tell if the rabbit is pregnant is through what is called palpation. Now, this is not necessarily a scientific method, but it requires some amount of skill, so you have to practice in order to get it perfect, so to speak. It's a very important tool in the arsenal of the rabbit farmer, and it's even more important for farmers who grow rabbits for meat purposes. Now, how is this advantageous? Now, it's a time saver, really. So the gestation period of a rabbit is about 30, 32 days, 35, 36 in some cases, right? So you normally palpate. It is recommended that you palpate at about 14 to 15 days thereabout, which is roughly 2 weeks. When you do that palpation, if the rabbit is pregnant, you will allow the 30-day period to come and the rabbit would kindle. If not, you could put the rabbit out straight away. Put it back to breed straight away. And through palpating, you would have saved at least 2 weeks of having to wait for the rabbit to kindle if it's not pregnant. And if the rabbit is not pregnant and you don't know, you would have wasted 2 weeks or more waiting for the rabbit to kindle, only to find out that, hey, the rabbit is not pregnant. So basically, the method of palpation would actually save you quite a good amount of time. And time is a very important thing in rabbit meat production. Now, palpating a rabbit is actually quite easy. The challenge would be knowing what to look for or what to feel for when you're actually doing it. So here we have a doe, and we're going to palpate it quickly just to determine whether or not it's pregnant. Now, what do you look for? Alright, so how do you do it? You'd actually position the doe like this. I like to use my left hand to palpate. So I'd basically use my left hand and form it like a V, like this. And I would basically put my hand under the rump of the animal in a V form, just the same. And I'd use my right hand to cover the face of the animal. Now, as you can see, this rabbit is somewhat uncomfortable because she's not used to being palpated. So sometimes you will have a little bit of difficulty, but you have to persist. Anyway, you'd basically put your hand in the requisite position and you would basically feel the abdomen. You would have to do your best to keep the rabbit calm while you're palpating. You would basically put your hand under the rabbit and feel. So you feel in a direction like you'd feel from the rib cage area of the rabbit towards the back, the tail of the rabbit. So you would basically be squeezing the rabbit. Don't be afraid to squeeze a little bit or use a little bit of your strength, because sometimes the rabbit can be fat and you have to be firm, right, to really feel the kits inside of the abdomen. All right. Normally what you feel for is you would feel for some little things and they feel like grapes or marbles. So depending on how far along the rabbit is, they'd be bigger or smaller. But as I was saying earlier, at 15 days they would feel like marbles or grapes, so they'd be small, and you'd feel like a chain of them, or maybe one or two, depending on how many kits the rabbit will have. So when you do your palpation, that will tell you whether or not the rabbit is pregnant. Another way to tell if a rabbit is pregnant is to actually have your vet check the rabbit for you. So a vet could actually do the palpation, or a vet could actually do an ultrasound of your rabbit to tell whether or not the rabbit is pregnant. I don't know if you have, well, there may be portable ultrasound machines that like a farmer could acquire to do an ultrasound themselves as opposed to doing palpation. But I figure, if you're proficient in palpating, that would save you a lot of time and a lot of money, because I assume that going to a vet would not be cheap, and doing an ultrasound on a rabbit probably wouldn't be cheap either. So that's not necessarily a cost-effective option for farmers who are doing rabbits on a commercial purpose or a commercial level, but it is an option. So that's it. Another way to tell if your rabbit is pregnant is to actually attempt to breed it again. So if your rabbit is pregnant and the rabbit actually takes to the buck again, that would suggest that the rabbit was not pregnant. But if the rabbit actually is not interested in mating, then the possibility exists that it is pregnant. Of course, this is not scientific and this can be wrong as well. So the only way to actually make sure is to do a scientific method or through palpation. So you can either have the rabbit palpated or you do something like an ultrasound or an x-ray. That's the only way to know for sure. All of the other things like watching the signs and nest building and all of those things, those aren't necessarily surefire ways, because there is such a thing called false pregnancy, where a rabbit may exhibit all the signs, the aggressive behavior, the fur pulling, nest building and all of that, and the rabbit is not actually pregnant. So you have to know what to look for, and that will help you to determine. But as I said, the only sure ways are scientific methods, or doing something like palpating, or having your vet do an ultrasound or a palpation for you. So now we're gonna close the video. It actually started to rain right now, so we're having a little bit of bad weather right now. But before we close the video, I want to give a shout out to Sherry Gay Campbell for answering the community question that we posted, and simply asking what kind of video should we post next. And she stated how to tell if a rabbit is pregnant. So much respect to Sherry Gay for answering that community question, and we hope you actually found this video interesting and educational. Alright, so that's it from us here at JSH Rabbits. Don't forget to like, to share, to comment on the videos. A subscribe would be good for us as well. It will help us a long way in actually pushing the message of rabbit rearing. So if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. Thank you again, and of course, see you in the next one.